Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And just one of those movies which, even going in, watching it a few days ago, I realized that this movie is going to get a lot of flack. Apparently, it was highly criticized by the movie critics, the fans who went and watched it. But I still did want to watch it. I did enjoy it, but not as much as I thought I would enjoy a movie of this kind of. So it's um, uh, a sort of disaster film which could have killed off the entire population of the earth. And I must say this, Roland Emmerich seems to want to kill off everybody. He has something for the human race. Anyway, but that's him. So the movie I'm talking about is Moonfall, which just came out this year. It's a science fiction disaster film. So it's not just disaster, but there's also a big science fiction element to it. Little alien tinkering over here. It's co-written, directed, and produced by Roland Emmerich. Sorry. It stars Halle Berry, Patrick Wilson, John Bradley from Game of Thrones, Michael Pena, Charlie Plummer, Kelly Yu, and Donald Sutherland. And yeah, so it was. And okay, one more thing, I was really happy about this movie. Initially, I didn't actually see who the person was, but when I heard the voice, I had to go back and check. Yes, it was actually Maxime Roy, who is a French-Canadian actress who I've seen in several TV shows and I think a couple of movies here and there. And it's lovely to see her because she's been one of my biggest crushes of all time. So that is there. But the movie did receive a lot of negative flack for it. Although I really did like her performance. So the movie starts with a flashback from 2011, or not really a flashback, but it starts out in 2011, where Brian, Jacinda, and there's a newcomer named Marcus. These are three astronauts on a mission. They're on the space shuttle mission to repair a satellite. However, a mysterious black swarm, never seen before, that kind of like, kind of attacks the orbiter, knocking on power and killing Marcus. It knocks out Jacinda, who's in the shuttle, and Brian gets looped back into the. That's how he's saved, because the shuttle is moving around and he's still tethered to it. He gets back into it, and then he goes inside, rescues Jacinda, brings them back to it. However, the fallout from it is that he couldn't save Marcus, and he was basically dragged through his name was dragged to the mud. Jacinda manages to still have her career saved, and she's now second in command at NASA. Is it NASA? She is a deputy director of NASA, basically, and he is a washed up former astronaut, struggling to do a little bit of educational stuff here and there, and now it's 2022. So all this while later, he is estranged from his family. So that is another thing that actually is happening. So his son, played by Charlie Plummer, when he grows up, by the way, he is Sonny Harper. That's his name. They are estranged, but he manages to, like his family goes through a really bad divorce. So Brian's wife remarries Michael Pena's character, who's much richer and much more successful, Tom Lopez, and they've got a couple of kids, and Charlie is basically adopted out by Michael Pena's character. So it's now 2022, and conspiracy theorist Casey Houseman, who is pretty smart. He believes the moon is an artificial megastructure, and this is the part which I was laughing about. It basically, it's a megastructure that's set by aliens, and pretending, and this is pretending to be a satellite of the Earth. Basically, what they actually come out with is its inside is like a Dyson sphere, and the crater basically was formed in the crust part was actually formed over it, and unfortunately, what we come to find out over a period of time is that these were created by aliens who are pretty much like our creators. They were living in a distant part of the galaxy and they created these AIs to help people. Unfortunately, the AIs rebelled and they are these basically the Black Swarm. Uh, now I'm getting shades of Battlestar Galactica. And they combine together to create this huge thing, and they destroy wherever they find, you know, electricity and biology put together, something like that. And then they they kind of destroy humans. Sorry, the ancestors of us. And some of one team does manage to escape, and that is basically the team that's in the sphere that becomes the moon, becomes Earth's moon. So they go there, they set up the planet, put the seeds of life. Now that I'm getting um, Prometheus vibes, and set up the basically the creation of the Earth, and it the with the remaining stuff, dust and earth part and particles, it actually gets looks like the moon is not an artificial sphere. Instead, it's like a natural forming heavenly body. And well, so the moon is actually hollow. So Casey Houseman actually has these suspicions about it, because there is this hole that seems to appear on the moon, with which the black swarm goes into. And that's the story. So ancient aliens who are our creators, AI gone wrong, who wants to kill all of us. The moon is hollow, conspiracy theory. Yeah. And what happens is the moon is actually coming closer and closer towards Earth's orbit. So the sci-fi stuff is pretty awesome. I'm not going to say that there was certain scenes where the moon is passing extremely close to the Earth's surface, and those things are pretty awesome. So as you can suspect, our two heroes have to go and get this fixed along with the conspiracy theorists. And well, the rest of the people, some of them are dying and some of them are trying to get to safety. Michael Pena's character has to take the kids, including Sonny and his two daughters and his wife, to safety. Jacinda's estranged, I think they divorced actually. So her husband and her son also trying to get to safety. The son tends just so happens to get stuck with Sonny and the rest. So there's a young actress, a Chinese actress called Kelly Yu. I think she's Chinese Canadian, born in China, and then moved to Vancouver. So she's also in it. She's like the caretaker for the boy, kind of like his nanny and such, and forming like a small, although they don't really build on it too much, maybe like a romantic figure for Sonny. She's a student. So like I said, Maxim Roy plays a military captain who is rescuing getting both Brian and Houseman into NASA. So yeah, so the director of NASA does quit, and that's how Jacinda becomes the current head. So she sets out to go to the moon with Casey Houseman and Brian, and so inside it's basically like this giant sphere. You don't actually get to see the aliens. I suppose all of them have died out, but they have created a separate kind of AI which is more benevolent, that has their the ability to actually pass on the information to them, initially to Brian and then finally Casey himself. So a lot of messages. So it's bonkers. It's a bonkers movie, but it's a lot of fun as well. So there's a lot of you're going to find it difficult to swallow, of course, but it's a conspiracy theory. It's a fun movie. I kind of enjoyed it. I can't give it more than 7 out of 10 though, but visual effects are really high. Maybe a 7.5, but I enjoyed it quite a bit. like I said, even despite all the flaws, despite the fact that I was laughing at the, despite the fact that I was actually laughing at the storyline. So anyway, as long as I can enjoy it, that's more than enough for me. So for Moonfall, I'm giving it a 7.5, a reluctant 7.5 out of 10. Thank you guys. Have a good night.